they had time to edit it and do as you had suggested, was a story. It was a story based 25 years in the future, and it was basically what you had described. Now, I think it really caught a lot of people off guard, but because it was phrased in that future perfect tense, it seemed to generate, it seemed really concrete. It's not this will be, it's what this is. And it seemed to generate a lot of enthusiasm that I think something that was less concrete, a little bit more abstract wouldn't have. It had characters that people could identify with. It was only a couple pages long, but it really, I think, became a powerful tool because the story was personal as opposed to, abstract and distant for a lot of people.
I think I really agree with you, Blair, and often using a story like this, if people haven't had any experience of it, that just ignites, creative juices in their brains that they haven't ever thought about before. And, the energy level always goes up. I can honestly say it's never falls flat. But people are engaged, they are surprised, they're challenged, they respond to things they don't like quite clearly. They muse over things they've never thought of before. So, it's very good.
This is Lonnie. There's nothing more powerful than the story. And there's nothing more entertaining and more motivating. And like you say, Moira, it just captures people's imaginations and the power of the possibility. We can do this.
Yeah. Terry's just asked me a question about have I had any experience in doing this with young people? Yeah, I have actually. I'll give you two examples. One is with a group of young ones who had been at risk, mainly young people who had significant psychiatric illnesses, and we were designing within Hyde to do some consultation on some new health programming. And so I had been hanging out with the kids and I've done a lot of research on the statistics, and then we called them story circles because that was consistent with the way they had some of the language, and we used language. What I did with them was I wrote the story, and then I got one of them to tell it, one of the leaders to tell the story, and the story that I had written. So there was a bit of evidence of collaboration. I think that the more collaborative you can do that with young people, the better. The other example was, again, this was a group actually of homeless young people, mainly young mums who had, all sort of under 18, and who were living in a range of unsatisfactory arrangements, but they had all been clients of the domestic violence service that I was working for, and the DV service wanted to design some new outreach, but they were also wanting to use it as a lobbying tool to get extra resources for their service. And so we actually I used their stories, but I used their stories and turned it into one future story for the public servants. So that was a sort of a bit of a hybrid, but and it was really, really powerful, and it also was successful. It attracted some significant resource back to those young women, and so my client was happy. But that was kind of using it in a different way.